Wow, how many people have been predicting another financial collapse? How are you going to feel when the banks close and they start taking money out of your account without your permission to make sure that they get their millions in bonuses and you get nothing? You're just left with a bill minus 20, 30, 40% of all the money you've got in the bank. How are you going to feel at that? Do you think that's going to be enough to wake people up so that we come together and demand change? Anyway, no doubt I'll do a video about that shortly, but in this video I wanted to discuss this article. Jeremy Corbyn will sack Bank of England governor if they refuse to print free money. Jeremy Corbyn could sack the Bank of England governor if they refuse to print money to fund his spending projects. The left-winger's economic advisor has suggested. Richard Murphy, who is seen as the architect of Mr. Corbyn's economic agenda, the so-called Corbynomics, warned that there was no such thing as an independent Bank of England. Of course the Bank of England isn't independent. Any thinking man knows this to be the case. The government pay over £60 billion a year in interest alone to the bankers, to private bankers. The Bank of England is run of, for and by bankers. I said in a video just the other week that as the government they should be able to print money interest free. After all, they printed £375 billion for bankers to survive and feed off. It was called quantitative easing, and this was on top of us bailing them out to the tune of £1 trillion. And all that 375 billion did was make their balance sheets look a little better. Imagine printing 375 billion pounds to spend on public services. We'd be able to build the best country in the world, probably. So why, as Corbyn is suggesting, can't we print money to build houses, invest in the NHS, reopen libraries that the Tories have closed? Or what if we use that money to close the food banks that have opened so frequently across the country because of the Tories' heartless policies? We could close the food banks because we could actually afford to feed our people and not just feed the bankers. Imagine actually printing money that did some good to society rather than just wasting it, propping up already dead zombie banks. But of course the experts say that Corbyn's plans will fall foul of, can you guess, EU law. Jeremy Corbyn's People's QE would force Britain into 3-year battle with the EU. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot, in my eternal optimism, I forgot that we are in fact ruled and governed by unelected bureaucrats in the EU who work for international bankers. So of course doing something for the good of the people and not just for the good of the bankers would be against the law in this insane place we call Earth. Abraham Lincoln and JFK both printed interest-free money and they were both assassinated. Fair play to Jeremy Corbyn and Richard Murphy for floating this idea. This would be a massive blow to the private banksters. Have to be honest, this has piqued my interest in Corbyn even further. I'm going to start looking into this man some more. I still believe he won't be able to implement any of this, as the establishment simply won't let him. They'd rather kill him off than allow him to stop paying the bankers their interest. But even having the idea may inspire others to come forward and back these ideas, once the genie's out the bottle and all that. I have to say, from what I've heard so far, I really want Corbyn to win, just to see the establishment's reaction.